Welcome to the Guardians of Hope podcast, where we bring together parents, nonprofits, legal, and medical experts dedicated to positively impacting children's lives. I'm your host, Cynthia Ramsaran. The thoughts and opinions of my guests are not necessarily my own, so thank you all for joining and sharing. Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm joined by Carson Wagner, the founder of Lifetime of Love Nannies, a childcare service that's redefining what truly personalized care looks like for families. In a world where childcare often follows standardized, one-size-fits-all approaches, Lifetime of Love Nannies stands apart with its commitment to breaking the cookie-cutter mold. What began in Nevada and California represents a radical rethinking of how we approach each child's unique needs and potential. Their model doesn't just accommodate differences, it celebrates them through individualized attention, tailored care plans, and adaptive strategies that recognize each child is inherently unique. Carson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Cynthia.
Of course, I can't wait to hear more. So why don't you start by sharing what inspired Lifetime of Love Nannies and how your services have evolved specifically in Nevada and California?
Yes, absolutely. I was actually going to college out here in Reno, Nevada, and I just realized a serious need for childcare that was not only 24/7, but also accepting to all children of all capabilities. I had a lot of parents come to me and explain that they needed extra support, whether their child had a feeding tube or you name it. They just needed that extra support for a caregiver and someone that could come in and really knew what they were doing and how to support their child's unique needs. And that's when I wanted to drop out of college and start that resource to give to the community that holds a special place in my heart. And so I started Lifetime of Love Nannies back in 2019, and we have just grown pretty quickly in the childcare realm and childcare industry because it's such a huge need, and not just in Nevada and California, but really all over everywhere. You know, there's such a need for good quality childcare, especially to those, like you were saying, that have unique needs, and just supporting the families as a whole is really what we try to do and try to do the best at.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Carson. Now, the childcare industry often defaults to standardized approaches for efficiency. What specific practices at Lifetime of Love Nannies most dramatically breaks from this cookie cutter tradition?
Yes, absolutely. We are trying to do modern day childcare, is what I like to call it. And as we all know, it's very hard to plan out schedules weeks, months, even days in advance, let's be honest. And so with us, we really take a standardized approach of ensuring that the families can come to us, they can explain their needs, they're coming to us and knowing that all of our nannies are 10-tier screened. And what is really special about nannies in general in our agency is that we're able to really get to know the family's needs and do and provide that one-on-one care that they're looking for. We do not have a, hey, you need to utilize 40 hours a week of care. If you need 5 hours one week and then 40 the next and then 0 the next, we can really accommodate that. And then just finding people, if someone comes to us and says, hey, my child has A, B, C, and D, we can go out and we can outsource, or if we have someone on the team, even better for those specific needs, and then really train them and have the families train that nanny one-on-one to find the best fit for their household. You know, every child's needs are so different, and we want to be able to really celebrate those differences and help not just the child, but the households in a general sense.
And I'm sure the families and the parents especially appreciate that, Carson.
Yes, I would hope. It's a lot of work on our end, but we really do love it. And it's just a community that means so much to me. And it's really nice just hearing the stories of, you know, their child was nonverbal and their child's now saying words, or, you know, having different cues that the nannies caught on to and really connecting with that nanny. It's just really a special line of work and a special field. And I would say, in my opinion, one of the most rewarding fields.
Absolutely. And another thing I wanted to point out, a fascinating aspect of your work, is utilizing state funding to make care more accessible. So, how do funding mechanisms differ between Nevada and California? And what lessons might this offer for expansions to different states with different funding structures?
Yes, I had noticed that there was a lot of access to state funding for the field that we're in, and it just wasn't being touched. So when I started my agency, I went to, it's called Sierra Regional Center, just any regional center. We went to the regional center to see exactly what we can qualify for as a nanny agency and providing in-home care to children with special needs. And we have a few different resource options, state funding options that are available to us. The first one is respite. And so each family per child gets a certain amount allocated of respite per month. And then we also utilize Palco, and that's very autism specific. So we do respite in Palco. I think Palco just changed over to Acumen. And so we do Acumen for Nevada, and then we do ACE. I think it's called ACE FMS. We utilize ACE in California. And I've definitely noticed that the state funding options in California are there's a bit more to choose from in California than there is in Nevada. I hope that Nevada can, catch up to the curve, because we really lack resources out here significantly, and it's a problem. And I just want to make sure that we can, utilize all of the different state funding options out there. And per state, we're definitely looking to expand. And one of the things we look at when we're looking to expand to other states is the different state resources that we have access to. And then we also have partnered with the special needs community of Northern Nevada. They're a great nonprofit, and we do local date nights to the different families that may not be able to financially afford services out of pocket. And so we try to do a lot of things in the sense of taking that financial burden off of families, because that's really the last thing we want them to worry about.
Yes, absolutely. That's so wonderful. Carson, now going back to some of the things that you talked about with regard to diverse needs, I wanted to touch upon some of the training that your caregivers receive. So is there anything specific that your caregivers receive to support children with diverse needs? And how do you ensure that they stay up to date with best practices in inclusive childcare?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question, Cynthia. Thank you. As far as our agency goes, we employ all of our nannies, which means we're able to train them. And that's not typically industry standard within the household staffing industry. And so it was really important to me, knowing that we're caring for newborns all the way up to seniors, that these individuals are trained and they know the best practices, as you stated. So we do everything from SID certification, CPR, first aid. We do a background check, including driving record. We do references, ensure they have valid experience that fits what we're looking for. In addition to our specific training, our recruitment specialist, she's fantastic. She was actually a nanny herself when she first started, and one of the best nannies I had ever witnessed. So I had her come over and train everyone else to be as fantastic as she is. Her name's Abby. And so she will train everyone on the different practices and the standards that we have. We want, no matter who walks into our families' homes, to have the same, we're taking off our shoes, we're getting on the child's level. What do we do to de-escalate behaviors? We really want everyone to be on the same page and have the same general sense of knowledge of what we offer as an agency and what our standards are. And then in addition to that, we have a lot of teachers that are nannies for us. We have a lot of individuals that are going to college to be nurses. We have a lot of nurses. It's really a wide variety of different backgrounds, diverse backgrounds. such as going to school or their mothers themselves, what have you. And so we really just try to offer as many resources, whether it's online resources, hands-on in-person training. We really try to offer as much training as we can to nannies, especially when they show an interest. We really want to support them in those interests and get them to be as knowledgeable as possible in those fields.
Excellent, Carson. Thank you for that. I think I have one more question for you. Looking ahead, what developments do you see on the horizon for inclusive childcare? And how is Lifetime of Love Nannies preparing to meet these emerging needs?
Yes, absolutely. Inclusive childcare, I could go on and on and on about all of my ideas to shape it in the best way possible that I'm capable of as one person. But I think it really just comes down to educating others and different agency owners and just different businesses in general of what a need there is and how they can offer their agency and their resources to this community that's so much needs this support. For us, my goal is to get as much state funding as possible and as many grants as possible for special education in a generalized sense to be able to offer that in-home support, in addition to just expanding our services to all 50 states. That's really been a goal of ours, and we want to expand as quickly, but as safely and reasonably as possible to be able to offer these services to everyone. I mean, we do the most remote locations. Our saying is that we will never tell a family no matter what their needs are or what they're asking as in terms of their child's needs. And it really is a mission to us to be accepting to all children, and that includes really finding the perfect fit no matter how long it takes for that child's specific needs. So just being able to offer this resource to other states and other communities is really a passion project of ours.
That's wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing your organization grow, Carson. It's such a meaningful idea, and I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for the organization, and I'm thrilled to see that kids are getting the care that they need, and moms like me are not worrying so much about who's coming in and taking care of their kids so they can take care of other things. Where can we find out more about your website, or where can we learn more about your organization?
Yeah, you can find us at lifetimeoflovenannies.com, and then also our social media, Lifetime of Love Nannies, and then myself, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, just Carson Wagner. It's pretty simplistic to find, and I'm happy to connect. I love any advice or feedback that any moms or dads have for us of things we should look into or different ideas we have. We're constantly looking to grow and be innovative and help this community. So any pieces or words of wisdom are much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Carson. Thanks for your time today.